Leg the whole better part. Typically is done for someone this size in 2 stages. So today I think it's best to do a short leg first. But again, you always want to capture the fracture first. So if it's a distal third tibia fracture, you can go ahead and do a short leg cast. But if it goes to mid shaft, you're looking at probably either trying to do the whole thing in one piece, which gets tricky in someone this age or someone this big, or do a cylinder first. Got it? Long leg cast can be weight bearing or non-weight bearing. Non-weight bearing is going to be with a bend in the knee at about 35 to 45 degrees of flexion. So that's probably about right there. Okay. And if it was a weight bearing cast, it would be similar to a cylinder where it's just like maybe 5 degrees of flexion.
What do you mean someone of the size?
Not a kid.
Not a child.
Not a small.
You're not
In general.
I did not say that.
I know.
Yeah, it was.
As an adult, scoot towards me. Why are you scooting back now? There you go. I think you get a better turnout with the long leg doing the short leg first, just because of the fact that you can hold that 90 degrees a lot easier than trying to get 90 degrees with a cylinder on first. You can treat a number of different fractures with this. Long leg cast, we used to put them on for all Achilles tendon ruptures. We used to get a long leg cast in plantar flexion. Then that went to short leg cast in plantar flexion. Now we even do boots with just heel lifts, so that's changed quite a bit. This could be a bimalleolar ankle fracture. It can be tibial plateau fractures. It could be femoral condyle fractures. You can put, even though patella fracture is supposed to go into a cylinder, you can do a long leg. Why would you do that? Instead of doing a cylinder, why would you just put the foot in?
Strength.
So the cast doesn't slide down. Cylinder cast we change almost on a weekly basis. If you put the foot in, we never change them at all.
So you still have to change it that often, even with all the little stuff.
Even with all the little tricks that you
Yeah.
can try to do, you still change them.
Huh. Is that usually like a walk-in thing, or people make appointments?
It's
or
a walk-in.
Walk-in. All right.
At Kaiser, the doctor will put in there, okay to change a cast.
Yeah.
So therefore, it doesn't need to be seen by the physician or a provider. Now when you are going to, anytime you add a cast to another cast, you should taper it. Don't pad it any different, but whenever I come up here with my plaster, I'll make this thinner on this side, a lot thinner, and taper it down to be thicker.
You ever have a problem with separation of the two casts?
You do, you can. I'm going to try to show you guys how to maximize so that doesn't happen. Since this is a non-weight bearing cast, the knee's going to be bent at 45. So the soft tissue between 90 degrees right here and 45 degrees of knee flexion, it's going to change a little bit. No banana.
Just pull the Jordan.
Even though it's plaster, or even whenever you're gonna add a lot more to this, I still put my 5x30 splint in.
How many layers is that?
Well, you could do the whole, I just didn't feel like counting it out.
Oh.
Tons of time. Say that to you guys all the time. So what I'll do here now is take her off the stand. Again, mold her. I'll try to get her knee at like a 45-degree angle now, because this is where the cast is going to, the rest of the cast is going to be applied. So you want that soft tissue to match. When I add the next part to this cast, I will trim out the toes. I'll wait till this whole thing dry. Trim out the toes, then I will add the next part. The reason for that is with a long leg cast, you control rotation of the knee, and you want to line up second toe, mid patella, ASIS. Those are your bony landmarks that you want to line up. Not everyone's going to line up that way. Females may not. They get a little bit of valgus knees to them, where males get a varus knee to them. So just make sure that you look at the other knee. If it's not lining up the way you want it to, look at the other leg and duplicate that. Got it? But the ballpark will be second toe, mid patella, ASIS.
How do you visualize ASIS from their clothing and all that? Just kind
So
of
you
look.
put her, yeah, it's right in
Kind of
here.
find it. And
Yep. I'll put her, I'll have her put her hand on it. Actually, all it takes is just a real quick touch. You know exactly where it is, and then you'll always know. You can scoot back now a little bit. Right there. I'm gonna shut that.
Yeah.
What'd she say? That's good right there. you're actually gonna lay down for me. Here's a plaster pillow for you.
It's good support.
So she's not gonna line up on her, put your hand on your ass, man. Okay, so she will not line up. Put your hand on your other. She's a little bit rebellious, not much. So the one thing that you're gonna always be watching is rotating the knee in. She'll wanna rotate out because she wants to see what's going on, but you gotta keep her rotated in. And what if you had somebody with a ginormous thigh and a really small ankle? Would you use 4-inch stockinette? You could actually just cut the 4-inch stockinette from here to here and then use 3-inch stockinette on the way down. Or you can even just do 4-inch stockinette from here to here, 3-inch from here to here. Nothing that says that you have to have stockinette throughout the whole thing. And we have a leg stand at work, so see, she's putting pressure on her heel, so it wouldn't surprise me if this heel dents over time. It actually holds the leg up just like this. We don't have those here?
Need one of us to hold it up for you.
No, I'm gonna do it without it. Okay. Never, when you add two pieces of cast together, you're never going to overlap your web roll over your plastic or your fiberglass. Just don't do it. Never any padding in between the layers. You will only pad where you left off. And this is going to be very similar to a cylinder cast where you're going to go all the way up towards the greater troch. And it kind of ends up to be just 2 or 3 finger breadths below the groin. And you pad higher than you need to. So my padding will go way up in there, but I don't roll the plaster up there. Give her a little extra around the patella. I'm okay with everything else. Always double check the things that you can't see. You can see that this is sticking out a little bit, the edge of this cast. So what I try not to do, I want to make the cast transition pretty easy. I don't like to have a big old dent where the two casts were. Although sometimes you get that. Sometimes you can't prevent it. But I try not to. So what I'll end up doing as the cast is drying is pushing up on the toes a little bit and it'll get rid of that. See how you get this? I'll try to get that. And then my last money roll that I do will go all the way from the top, wrap all the way back down towards the toes. When I first start, you have to overlap your plaster or your fiberglass, whatever width material you're using. It has to at least start with that. Does that make sense? So if you're using a 6-inch roll of plaster, I have to start right here with a 6-inch roll of plaster. The whole roll, one couple layers, and then start my way. If it's 4, then just 4. But you're not going to start here and then come back down. You start here, work your way up. Got it?